Well, hello and welcome to the favorite hour. As I always say, you should be relaxed by now and waiting to see what topic we bring and how it is we discuss it. And we have a beautiful topic today. We're asking, is it the same book with different chapters? Well, it's been 6 months since the NPP came into power. And God willing, on Tuesday, the president would meet the press and probably account for his stewardship for 6 months and then also address what he's going to do, for the rest 3.5 years coming. But we're asking, is it just the same book with different chapters? We've seen it before. And the many promises that they made before they came into power, we've heard the usual rhetoric. We were not aware of how bad things were, and therefore we need to go back and rethink or reposition ourselves before we move on. What do we expect tomorrow? Anything new? Is the free education going to indeed start in September, and how is it going to roll on? The special Attorney General, who's going to, arrest and try everybody in the previous government who did wrong. What's really going to happen, folks? We're going to find out this evening if indeed we are reading the same book but different chapters, or we have a completely different book that we are reading. My name is Nanan Sakwa the Fourth, Chief of Akufo-Addo and your host. When I come back, I have two fine gentlemen to try and explain to us what phase we are into. Don't move. Is it the same book with different chapters, or are we reading a completely different book? With me in the studio, sat right next to me, is Baba Tofik, who is MPP Adenton Constituency Youth Organizer. First time on the show. Baba, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And then I have Kojo-Edu Asari, former MPP for Adenton Constituency. Also first timers on the show. And there's a culture here, so my viewers and I, for all first time, you charge Ambantamusa. So there's a bottle of drink from each of you for my viewers and you. So, so you're welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
But let me start with you, Kojo. I just want to find out if it's the same book with different chapters, or indeed we are reading a completely different book. It's been 6 months. The president will on Tuesday come and account probably for his stewardship and then tell us what he has ahead. But as they say, if it will simmer, it will start bubbling from underneath. So by now we should see some bubbles if it's going to simmer. What would be your assessment? And I know you are, NDC, so try and be as objective as try and be as objective as possible.
That's a rather harsh one to try to unsettle me.
Yeah, try
anyway,
to
that's fine. Good evening to your viewers, and also thanks for inviting me, and good evening to my colleague here. I think it's in order if the president, after 6 months of ascending it's not a throne, like the seat of the presidency, if after 6 months he wants to have or let me say a review, or let's say an overview of whatever has happened in the last 6 months, and also share ideas of the outlook of the future with Ghanaians. It is proper, it's in order. His predecessors have done it in the past, and I think in all cases it was to engender a solid rapport between government and the media. So it's in its right place for the government or the president to undertake such an exercise. What some of us are asking is whether or not, or what the content of this 6 months will carry. Whether it's going to be laced with the usual embellishments. There are myriads of promises that were made prior to the elections, and some of them were made, and the assurances were given that within 3 months, within 6 months, so some were time bound. So I'm sure he will be able to review some of these promises and let Ghanaians know what has come of those timelines when it comes to electricity bills, when it comes to the restoration of the nursing, teacher training allowances, and those were promises that were made with time attached to it and so on. So for me, I want to test his honesty. Yeah, that's all I want to find out from him tomorrow, whether or not he will be honest to admit that coming into power, the situation he came to find may not be the very perspective that he was seeing things from when he was in opposition, so people should give him time. For some of us, when former president...
Before you continue, has that not been an overused excuse? Oh, I didn't realize that this much debt was there. Oh, I didn't realize that there was this much mess there. And so it's just become that, you know what, just promise your way through. Once you get there, the first thing you say is, oh, I didn't realize there was such a big hole, and therefore, instead of me fixing it in 2 years, you need to give me another 2 years. I mean, is that not an overused excuse?
Well, I don't want to place this at the doorstep of the current president. It was President Akufo-Addo who made that very statement when he became president. I don't recall anybody in NDC, be it President, late President Mills or President Mahama, at any point making that statement. I think we came and met situations that were almost, swallowing us. But we held some of them, we took the bull by the horn and promised Ghanaians will fix it. That's especially with the situation of Doomsaw. We fixed it before we left power, at least to the extent that today the new government is not having to take any blame for whatever situation that we are.
At a cost of $2.5 billion.
Well, certainly everything comes at a cost. Everything comes at a cost, unless someone wants to tell me that they have been able to assess that we have, or something untoward happened. I mean, I've heard all manner of people say, this was overpriced and all of those things. But you see, no two projects are the same. Okay, it may be the same set of equipment you are using and all of that. But even where the two items will be situated may not necessarily be the same. Some will go to the same product. One will go to Japan, one will go to Ghana. Even the whatever it takes to transport them and where it's going to sit. Some will be sitting in a waterlogged area, some will be sitting on top of a mountain or whatever. The topography of the area itself can affect costs in one way or the other. So for me, unless there is empirical evidence to prove that something untoward happened, then we can own up to it.
But for you tomorrow, you are expecting honesty?
I am expecting honesty because the myriad, as I said, of promises that was made, those, especially those that they timed, even with the one district, one factory, the Minister of Trade said it was by June, it will start. We are in July, today is 16th or so, 17th. So all these things we are marking. But like the former president, JM said, as a former president, he will want to give them a minimum of 1 year to, run the affairs of the country before he can assess them very well and make comments on whether or not they are doing anything right or wrong and so on. So we should give them time. So for now, we are not in a hurry to look for faults, but it looks like they are falling on their own swords because of the high expectations that people have for the kind of promises they made and the fact that they are not delivering or they're not living up to the expectation of people.
Let me bring Baba in here. Baba, what should we expect tomorrow? 6 months, stewardship, myriad of promises, one village, one dam, one district, 1 million, one district, one factory. There was even one district, one warehouse came in the end. One district, one.
I seem to know all what we promised, but don't worry. You see, let me also extend my regards to my senior member here, my former MP. Yeah. As an Adentan constituent, I need to pay that homage.
Okay.
And then I greet the audience as well. As for that man, then we will pay. That man, then we will pay. You see, 6 months of the Akufo-Addo government. So far, so good.
You don't even know what to add.
You see, you know, as I was listening to Honorable, I felt his expectation will be met. He shouldn't worry at all. All that he spoke about is within, it is doable. Those that are time-bound, as he was saying, especially the allowances and blah, 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 blah. He knows what has been done about all those ones.
Oh, no, I don't.
So if you have,
so let me put them out.
Right.
He's expecting. You see, when you say the NDC government never said we didn't expect to meet this debt, I find it. We were here when NDC took power, and they told us about the debt that they came to meet. Made a whole noise about the debt that they came to meet. He said he said except his government. He said Kufo said he didn't know until he came in. You know, you asked him, and he said, oh, apart from Kufo, he doesn't remember any NDC. He said it. You can ask him. You see, I was listening to him. I was paying attention to him. I was listening to him. But I'm reminding him.
But I said we
were here when we were
our issues.
You've agreed you said it.
No, I
so
said
let me
we
proceed from there.
confronted our issues.
You want me to add that one?
Yes.
So you accepted that you said it, but you confronted them. Should I take it away? Okay, let me move on.
Okay.
So we were here when NDC came to power. And they were telling Ghanaians about the debt, the amount of debt. And they were praying that we convert the amount of money into the old currency so that they could also say those of people who are, you remember perfectly.
Who said OPPP?
Oh, no. When you were talking, I was here. You let me finish.
Okay, but let me finish. Yes, moving
let me finish.
What we expect
so 6 months of the Akufo-Addo government, we are not going to sing the same song where we will say we didn't expect that this is that. And now he's going to talk about his policies. We made a lot of promises. And now as we sit here, 6 months into the government, people are so hopeful. They're looking at the way things are being done, the way the man and Akufo-Addo is going about things, the change that we all yearn for, the change that we all seek. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The signs are clear. You know, you see, if you sit back and then you, as an opposition party, I don't expect them to sing our praises. I don't expect that. But you could see from the way they are feeling now, everything is moving on perfectly. 6 months, just 6 months, everything is moving on perfectly. Then I will talk about the policies tomorrow. You'll be specific. As people are expecting something new from what we've seen over the years, it is the normal meet the press, where he will take questions from journalists, and after he will present what he has for the nation. It's going to be one that will be more detailed because of the promises that he spoke about. Any amount of money that has come into the country for any project. You know, we've heard about monies coming from other countries, blah, 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 towards certain projects, specific projects. He's going to speak to those ones. And then he's going to buttress the points. You know, some of the things that we've heard didn't come from him personally. It came from some ministers and then our vice president. He's going to speak to those specific issues. Allocate so and so. He's going to share whatever we have accordingly and make sure the promises that he made will be attended to.
Is he going to talk about the almighty bauxite?
No. If you go there tomorrow and ask about the bauxite, he'll talk about it. He'll talk about it. He will not leave anything out. You see, we have a man who can express himself so well. You and I know Nana will not.
No, we don't need expressing.
No, he said talk about. He said he's going to talk about them, and I'm saying he's going to talk about them and make sure we understand.
I'm asking you if you know.
He will deal with every question. Will you be there tomorrow?
No, it's not a matter of question. I'm asking you. I mean, obviously, he's going to give a speech. And you said he's talking about his policies. And I'm asking you if the bauxite is part of the thing that he's going to talk about.
He's going to meet the press. tomorrow what we are going to do is he's going to talk to Ghanaians. You understand? You want your expectations should be met. He can't do anything there tomorrow apart from talking. He's going to talk about his policies. He's going to outline his plans.
But he's
going to deal with specific issues.
Do you know if his policies include the bauxite?
No. Why are you so interested in the bauxite? I'm saying that if any question comes from...
Why am I so interested? The vice president came from China and announced a bauxite. What do you mean I'm interested in it?
Let me say this. If you have any question about the bauxite, present it tomorrow and it will be dealt with. It will be dealt with.
No,
Nothing will be shielded.
Your answer should be yes or no. Do you know if the president will speak about the bauxite? I think it's simple.
No, I can't. You and I know. No. Let's be fair. You and I know whatever the president will present tomorrow. I can't come and sit here and then tell you he will talk about this, he will talk about that, he will talk about that. Because what we're giving...
It's a matter of national security.
No, he will address the press, and after that he will make his presentation. I see. Yes. Okay. That has been what the audio.
Okay. Now this was from the senior minister. Now let me say that the Akufo-Addo-led government will not be able to develop the country if it tries to pay all debts left behind by the erstwhile NDC Congress. Senior Minister Osafo-Maafo has revealed, according to Mr. Osafo-Maafo, the current government inherited heavily indebted economy, which will take time to be fixed. Hence, any attempt to settle all the debt will affect the government's agenda. To quote, this is quotation, we inherited a poor economy and debt, but will not pay majority of NDC debt, because if we try to pay all the NDC debt, Nana Addo will not be able to develop, he said. Now, I'll leave you to comment on this. I mean, what does it mean? I mean, government is a continuous business. It doesn't stop and start, it continues. So by all means, there will be some debt in this. So if the senior minister makes this statement, what does it mean? Let me start.
You started with me.
Let me start with you. Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm as confused as you are, because it's a bit, I don't know, naive, if I may put it that way, for any minister of state to speak the way he's doing. Because then again, you are telling those we owe to either go to court and demand their money, so you pay under some compulsion or whatsoever. What I think they should be doing, if they have any way to renegotiate these contracts, as they have been doing in the last 6 months anyway, they should continue. And all they want to do is to make sure they pass off some of these contracts to their own people. Okay. So the kind of contracts they have in the system, if they want to continue to pay and allow these contracts to continue, it's going to be like 2 or 3 years before they can even start awarding anything new, probably. So let's now try and truncate some of the contracts and abrogate some of it, and all in the name of we don't have money. You see, but trust me, it's not the best way to run a country. Because when we came in 2009, we came and met, even the single spine was one single policy that took us 4 years to implement. We did not throw Ghanaians away. We embraced it. How difficult it was to implement it, Ghanaians know. All right? And that is what governance is all about. You don't throw your hands up in despair. You look for ways and means. You think and find ways and means to confront the issues as they come. That makes you a leader. So for me, these, I don't know what to call it. It may be rhetoric that I'm sure tomorrow some clarity may be given to it at the program, because I'm sure certainly somebody will ask this question, whether this is really something that has been deliberated on by the Cabinet of the Republic, for which reason the senior minister is out there putting it in the public domain. It's not possible. What he's saying is totally impossible. They should show Ghanaians that, the number of hours they spent in the queue to vote for them was a decision that is worth their time, worth their thinking, worth their brainstorming. You know, if governance was just about, you know, winning power and throwing issues out there, thinking that, oh, we thought it was like this, now that we find out it is like that, let us tell them anything and get away with it. Who is an NDC contractor? Who?
Well, this one says they're not.
Because I'm confused. He's not talking about NDC contractors.
It says we inherited a poor economy and debt, but we will not pay majority of NDC debt, because if we try to pay all the NDC debt, Nana-Addo will not be able to develop, to do any development. And these are quotations.
What does it mean? We won't pay NDC debt. Do they owe the NDC as a party, or do they owe individuals who worked whilst the NDC was in government? So the people who are owed may be Ghanaians or foreigners or whatever, foreign contractors, but it is the state of Ghana that owes them. Okay, so there is no NDC debt anywhere. They don't owe us as a party. We haven't done any contract as a party for the state of Ghana. It is Ghanaian individuals, contractors of different sizes, magnitude, and shape and color, who have worked for the state of Ghana, and they deserve, if they deserve to be paid, they should make sure they complete their jobs. If they don't want them to complete and they want to cut off, which they are doing anyway. Go to Cocoa Board. Most of the roads that they are doing, they have abrogated those contracts written to almost every contractor. Those who are doing supplies, all those whatever, have been cut short. All right, so they can introduce their own people to start supply work and all of these things. It's funny, okay?
Let me say to you, Kojo, before I move to one of the probably quote unquote sins that were levied on the NDC, which worked from the position, was that, look, you guys are borrowing too much. You guys are borrowing too much. Could this be what he's saying? Now listen, the previous government has overborrowed, and that if we decide to service all these overborrowed debt, we won't be able to, we'll spend our lifetime just paying debt.
We didn't borrow for NDC as a party. We took the name of Ghana. Some of them we secured with sovereign guarantees in the name of the Republic of Ghana. You cannot revoke these, whatever, or you cannot just say, I won't pay. Then it means you are opening the floodgates for them to go and seek redress in international arbitration courts and so on. And that will come with extra cost, because if you are owing $10 million and the person takes you to some of these places, you don't end up paying $10 million. You will pay like 3 times. So if that is what they want, they should go ahead and talk like that. But it sounds very naive for a senior minister to speak like that to me.
Let me bring,
even if that is an intention, you don't talk like this.
But what does the senior mean? That government is an ongoing business, and so everybody meets that, and you chop and change, and you service, and then you develop along. So what's your understanding?
I don't see why Addo is talking like he's doing. He said we're not going to pay majority of NDC debts. He didn't say we won't pay any at all. He said we're not going to pay majority. You understand? You don't look at the debts that they left. Now, in any way, this is something I don't like doing, but I should do this today. In any way, from 92 to today, if he's talking about NDC debt, I don't know why you're arguing. Which party has had majority of our time as a country, Ghana? 35 years of Ghana is owed to the NDC. 35 years. You've had 2 terms. You've had 19 years under J.J. Rawlings. And if you're saying NDC debt, you are saying it's not NDC. The country owe a lot to these people. 35 years of Ghana, we owe it to NDC. And the NDP has had just 8 years from 92 till today. So if we have so much debt sitting down, who should we blame? So if he says we're going to pay your debt, it is true. It is your debt. And we will pay majority. What we can pay, we will pay. Because we have other projects to execute. You were asking me about his policies. Is he going to talk about this? What is he going to use to implement those policies? So we can't go for money and come and use it to settle NDC debts. He's right. We're not going to pay more of that, but we will pay what we can do. You can go to court, you can go to this. It is a gap. If we say we won't pay, it's a different thing. He said we're not going to pay majority. So with time, we will be paying. We will pay. Who doesn't owe? Were they able to pay all our debts as NDC government? Nana, were they able to pay all Ghana's debts? Never. You can't pay all. So we will do our best. So minister said what he said is just right. I don't see why we should even, he started by talking about contractors. You don't incite people like that. As if you're not going to pay, so they should go to court. He didn't even talk about contractors. But Kojo decided to bring them in. You see?
So, I still find it a bit, because businesses are going, like I just said, that, well, the NDC was in government, but they operated in the name of Ghana. So whatever debt they have is a Ghanaian debt.
I understand.
I mean, if they constructed a bridge in, the overpass at Circle, it's for Ghana. It's not for. Hold on. It's for Ghana. It's not for the party. So if there's a debt to be paid about the flyover, what do you mean by I won't pay majority of the debt? I mean, so which percentage would you pay?
Let me be frank with you. No government has ever been able to pay all our debts. Mm-hmm. No government. So even this, I don't see why this should even become an issue. No government has never. You can't pay all debts. So you do what you can do, and then you move on. You don't go and take so much and come and settle debts. Whilst what you promise Ghanaians, you can't even attempt to one. So we will stay focused. We will stay focused. Debts that they incurred, they are there. We will pay the ones that we can pay. But we can't waste all our time settling their debts whilst our promises are lying fallow. We won't do that. No government will do that. They didn't do that either. So I don't see why he's shouting and they should do this. They didn't do it, but he expects us to do that.
Do we have that luxury?
No, that's what I'm saying.
As in what we pay and what we don't pay.
No. I asked you a simple question. Which government has ever come and has been able to settle all our debts?
No, I know, but I mean, do we have that luxury?
So this is a non-stop. We will pay. What we can pay, we will pay. But you can't pay all. That is what he's trying to say. We can't pay everything. We can't clear all our debts. It has never been done. But you agree? Were you able to clear our debts? No, this one.
You see, Baba, I'm sorry, but you see, if any investor is listening to you,
but it's true.
I mean, if any investor is listening to you.
You see, you are trying to lobby contractors and investors.
I said,
it's a simple thing.
No.
Which government was able to pay all
If any investor is listening to you this evening.
It's not about investment or investors.
Yeah, because this business,
it is serious.
Ghana's project and policy you are talking about, he will have to involve people who will put their money in. Especially this one district, one factory thing. He's going to rely on.
These are projects that will yield results, and you can set. You see,
and you are sitting here saying that you won't pay. If you won't pay, one day when you leave power, who will pay those people that you
leave them? You
are going to leave the debt?
The ones who left, who is going to pay?
That's the point. You see,
the ones who left, who is going to pay? No, government is a continuous thing. Government is a continuous thing, she said. You've left debts. We will pay some. We can't pay all. That's what I'm talking about. Same way you met debts. You paid what you can pay. You didn't clear all.
I understand.
Nana, can I say something?
Yes.
You see, some of our debts, or let's say most of our debts, have agreements signed. Some through Parliament, some, ministerial agreements and so on and so forth, depending on whether they are local. The monies are from domestic or foreign sources. So it's very difficult for anybody to just get up and say, I won't pay. Like akin to this Yintia business, a champon era, Yintia kind of thing. It doesn't work like that. You see, you have signed an agreement. Ghana's name is sealed on it. You cannot just sit back in some corner where you think you are talking and nobody is recording you. And so that's what sometimes they get carried away in their small boxes when they think they are addressing their party supporters and party faithfuls. So they say things without really taking it through the, thought process that will make a sound argument when it comes to the fore. Call Osafo Manfo tomorrow, and I'm daring your reporters. I am sure he will change his mouth before President Akufo-Addo's press conference. Somebody should try, because whatever he's saying does not sit very well with any agreements that we have signed with any contractor for that matter. What you can do, even if it's a domestic whatever, local contractors, what you've started something. you are inviting some of them, reviewing their contracts based on the fact that you don't have money to continue some of the contracts. So you are renegotiating. But to say that we won't pay majority of it, you know what? Come on, that sounds very, like something that didn't go through any serious thought process. I must be honest with you.
I'm going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we just want to find out that tomorrow, would we want to hear reaction from the president with regards to the Bost saga? Because that's been in the news for some time now. The president hasn't said anything. Tomorrow, indeed, if he's meeting the press, would he want to comment about it? Would you want to hear a comment about it? Stay tuned. Are we reading the same book or different chapters? Is it the same book with different chapters, or is it a completely different book? Just before the break, we just wanted to find out from our guest if indeed we want to hear the Bost saga. Baba? Well, let me start with you then, since you were talking. What would be the president's comment on the Bost saga? Can you preempt what the president would say with regards to the Bost hula balula?
You think there's a hula baloo? The Bost issue, for me, I believe it has been dealt with. The Bost issue came up, people said a lot of things. It has been dealt with. What do you expect the president to say again? The minister has come out. This. We are done with the Bost issue. There's nothing to be. You see, if we want to revisit the Bost issue and then go back to the issue, there are a lot of questions to be asked. Even as we sit here, people are asking specific questions. They should show a gallon of the contaminated fuel that they bought from the filling station. Point where it was. You see, there are a lot of issues. It has been dealt with. I don't see why this should even be. Even if anybody should ask. You
don't think the president should talk about you?
If it's a question, fine. But as part of his speech,
you don't think he should?
No. It has been dealt with.
Let me go to this. Do you think the president should comment?
Well,
or just
I will be happy if he doesn't even talk about it, so that we will continue to rub it in at any given time when the opportunity rears its head. Because majority of Ghanaians, including people and newspapers that the majority of Ghanaians know are inclined or it to be part of their own ideologies. The Searchlight, the Daily Searchlight, was the paper that broke this story, this Bost story. So it's not an NDC story that anybody should think that it's the NDC that is taking interest in an issue like that. The very first day this story came out, it was the Daily Searchlight, a paper that we all know Ken Kranchi is the editor, and we all know who Ken Kranchi, the party Ken Kranchi belongs to. We all know that openly he has declared his whatever for the NPP. So here we are, the facts are there. They think they can just cook stories, cock a bull stories from the BNI to come and kill this story. It will die in their homes, but it won't die outside their homes. For us, we know whatever happened, to the extent that they are even forging the date that the man took over. Bost.
What do you
started work. He started. They said 23rd. The minister said he started work on the 23rd. You've seen letters of dates that were back. Oh, please! I mean, come on. These
so which one should be? So you think the letter one is
posthumous letters that you said back.
You came out to say the date was wrong, and we proved you.
And you went and you went and posthumously create new letters to come and
Now you don't do this. No.
Please.
You came out with your dates. He came out with
that's what I'm saying.
Certificate that is presented. And they did the certificate.
To the extent that the National Petroleum Authority even came to slam the process of this whole mess. Okay? So please, for me, if you think this is a good enough story to just use all kinds of means using the BNI, I didn't even think of it. So
today you don't believe in the BNI?
No. Think of it. A ministerial committee.
Yeah.
Okay, Ministry of Energy, a ministerial committee is set up to investigate an issue. Then an agency of another ministry, Ministry of National Security, its agency under this.
You're describing the
Please BNI listen, BNI is now
describing the BNI
an agency under Ministry of National Security. that agency has powers to usurp a decision made by a ministerial a minister.
This is a security agency.
Wonderful.
And they've come up with their
because
for me,
because it's just an agency.
That said, I will be happy if Nana-Addo does not even mention it.
Because
it makes it a good story to run and keep running, and the chicken will come home to roost.
Because of time. Listen, Baba, hold on. Because of time, this is again the senior minister saying, we are going through papers. After that, majority of the NDC corrupt officials will be prosecuted. We don't want to lose any case in court for accusing NDC officials as corrupt. Therefore, we are looking into some of their contracts to get concrete evidence, as he revealed. I mean, as he sent Shivers down.
Shivers, as for Shivers, go down his spine.
You see, Nana, if they say if they mention what bones,
dry bones, old ladies begin to shake.
So if you are not old and they mention dry bones, you rather take a 100-meter dash and come back. For some of us, we have said it. If you have any case against anybody who has embezzled government funds or public funds, please jail that person through the right channels. We have said so. But again, it's been 6 months. We are in the 7th month. All the powers that this so-called special prosecutor is going to be assigned by the passage of this bill in Parliament, which the first reading will be made tomorrow, all those powers are vested already in the Attorney General's bosom.
But that would be witch hunting if the Attorney General
who is appointing?
They will carry
who is appointing the special prosecutor?
They have security of tenure, so...
No, I am saying that security of tenure whatsoever, who will appoint that person? And what will be the guarantee that he won't come and look at faces, just as the Attorney General will do? So for me, that is neither here nor there. For what I think is that they haven't set the stage to have that moral authority to deal with any such issues. Because if you think I'm a thief or I've done something wrong, are you waiting for this bill? The first reading will be tomorrow. The third reading can take a year. Are we going to wait till that day comes so that the Attorney General, with all the 100% powers that she has, part of which is going to delegate to the special prosecutor, will what? We are paying her to do what job? So criminals should walk around if they think they have some. Please, for me, I think it's neither, they don't have nobody to catch.
Baba, special prosecutor.
What are the reasons? He said we are not going to rush. We're not going to rush it. You know, we were here when NDC came. Held this one, took this one. What happened? What happened? They couldn't jail even one. They also campaigned on corruption. They tagged us as corrupt people, and then we were voted against. Who was prosecuted? We are not going to rush. I don't see his problem. He said we won't rush. We will take our time, examine the cases, and present a good case. Whoever has done anything wrong, as he's calling for, will be jailed. We've done it before. Ghanaians are expecting that.
Is that why you are
exonerating
it's not the boss case?
You are calling on people
to act, and
I'm telling you are going to act. You've called on the president.
So you are exonerating the boss people so that the prosecutor will not...
No, you are daring him. I'm telling you. Be rest assured. Ghanaians voted for the change. Ghanaians called for accountability. They will get it. You can trust the NDP government for that.
Now, ask question. How about the Attorney General? You know, he has.
You see,
he has the power.
You see. For that one, I agree with you. You see, me, I don't see why.
That's not bad. We have at least we have one agreement.
Yes, that one is true. I don't see why it is taking such a long time. Ghanaians we want to see action when it comes to prosecution of corrupt officials. We really want to see action. We've had instances where it was so obvious, so obvious that this is a case of corruption where somebody will go into his account and refund monies. You know about some people refunded monies back into government chest.
Who?
Kojo?
Who?
Oh.
Who?
Nana, you see, these are cases that no.
Please.
We've had.
Mention names. Who?
Kojo, the branding saga.
Who?
The branding saga. The car branding saga.
And any
well, money is not refunded.
in any court,
no, you see now.
Has any court
I'm telling
found
you,
anybody
we've had
guilty?
cases where money. You said who?
No. So
I'll give you an example. No.
Listen,
let me say
let me also tell you that.
Allow me. Could you allow me?
if
You asked me and I've answered you. So let me proceed.
No. Let me ask you.
No.
one
Could you don't ask
question.
me a question? Let me continue. No. We've had cases where people, if you've not stolen any money, you've not taken any money from government, how can you go into your account, pick monies and refund them?
Have you?
I've mentioned what.
No. Have you prosecuted anybody?
It's not about. I gave you an
6
example.
months. Have you
And you asked
prosecuted
me who.
anybody?
I've given you specific answers. So let me proceed. Nana, there are instances so obvious, so clear. People will go to jail.
And yet your
you can't tell me. You can't tell me you are not corrupt. You've not stolen anything. Let me ask this question. As you sit here, then let me end with this. As you sit here, if you make your own money, and then I come and tag you with corruption, you say, oh, because you are saying I'm corrupt, let me refund this money. Can you do that? Who will do that? If you've not stolen anything, and then they say, oh, this thing didn't go well, and then so and so much was spent on it, and people are having so much in that. And then you say, okay, if that's the case, let me refund 20,000 or 40,000.
Has any court prosecuted
You are talking
anybody
about court. I'm talking
guilty?
about happenings. You are talking about court.
Yes, of course.
I'm not talking about legal
You cannot
issues.
use your
I'm
mouth.
talking about happenings.
Please,
Things that has happened.
your pronouncement
I'm giving you
cannot jail
examples.
anybody.
We are not talking about jail here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you about happenings.
Your pronouncement
Things that we've
will
all
not jail
experienced,
anybody.
we've seen.
So if you have any case against somebody,
if you are corrupt,
take him through due
if you are
process and
corrupt,
jail the
if
person.
you are corrupt, you can't hide it.
But how can you say somebody is corrupt or stealing if you haven't taken?
And I'm giving you.
Giving what?
It's
by
not
your,
just one.
by your estimation or by your... What are you talking about?
Kojo, when it comes to this issue, I feel like that to go personal.
No, go personal.
No, you see,
not personal.
No, not personal. Saying attacking him. No, personal.
Please.
You know, we're here.
Listen,
I don't want to use him as an
please,
example.
do it.
You see,
if you have
Kojo
anything
knows
like
what I want to talk about.
Go
That's why
ahead. I'm
listen.
telling you to go ahead. Maybe you need information. Go ahead.
I won't take that information from you because Kojo, Nana, we are in this country.
Right.
Committees, commissions have been set up by your own government, and some of you faced.
And the commission said what?
You faced them.
And the commission
Kojo,
said
you
what?
went there.
Yes, and the commission said what?
You went
if
there.
I go to a commission, it means
I don't want to go specific.
No, go specific. There's a document that was produced.
What they are calling for, they'll get it. Prosecution of corrupt officials.
You guys are joking.
If you say it is delaying, I'm telling you, we are doing due diligence.
That's what I'm
Due
saying.
diligence.
Okay, Baba, calm down.
Calm down. No. I'm not going personal.
Baba, calm down. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. No. I give you to 30 seconds. No. I give you to 30 seconds.
You see, these MPP, whatever, they think that some of us, me, I sit here. My name is Kojo Eduasare. If you and the MPP look me in the eyes, if you find anything against me with this Brazil thing, I'll be the first person to go to you. And you have not, you cannot, because
on that note, I need to sign out. On that note, my time is up. I've only got to sign out.
Is there.
You rush to court.
Read and write.
There's a saying,
Unless
who
those
don't
who don't want to read what
you
the
rush to
report
court
says.
and say we are jailing people. And then
Okay, guys.
You will not be thrown out of
guys.
cases.
Okay,
You will
guys.
send
Okay,
cases.
guys.
Then we win them.
So sit back
You're
and
not going to run.
But only sign.
Please
sign out.
We will see.
Take one person there. Let's see you have ball.
Well, all too soon. That's what time will allow us. But hey, I hope you made your own decisions. Tomorrow we'll listen to what the president will say, and then we'll take it from there. We're back to do this all over again. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.